I was joyously high and playing Roller Coaster Tycoon while eating breakfast and put on this playlist called Video Game Songs for Surfing the Web on Your Family's Windows XP Desktop. And a rush of emotions flooded my brain with games of my childhood such as Neopets, Club Penguin, Habbo Hotel, Webkinz, and more obscure and questionable ones like GaiaOnline, Zwinky, and Weeaboo. What is it called? Weebo. WeWorld. One of my earliest distinct memories as a child was creating a character on WeWorld and simultaneously replaying the Bowling for Soup High School Never Ends music video over and over again. And again, and then also again. And that's gonna go ahead and be like a couple more times after that. Which comes right before one of my next earliest memories of spending my very first dollars at an FYE, which does not exist anymore, buying that Bowling for Soup album, which I still have today. But only in my adulthood that I learned that this fuck-ass South Park coded-ass game was actually a cesspool for predatory behavior and essentially zero moderation. I should have been marking myself safe from the early internet. Of course, browser games like Neopets, Club Penguin, Webkinz, and Poptwopica were kids' games, but a lot of these other games were basically just online chat rooms disguised as games, also targeted at this same demographic of kids. This was around the same time that Roblox was coming out too, which turned out to be a perfectly safe platform for kids the whole time, with nothing bad ever happening on there. To this day, Roblox is like that 40-year-old guy that says physically disciplining your kids is okay because he turned out fine. He's not fine. WeWorld was an MMO marketed towards preteens and teens with these cute customizable characters that were very of its time. What a wonderful caricature of intimacy. It's the most 2007 looking thing I've ever seen. That you would then enter a chat room and hope for the best. Or in my case, have Bowling for Soup on repeat. Of course. But I didn't realize if you go to WeWorld's website now, it's a UK gambling site. A sketchy looking one at that. I guess if WeWorld was personified and grew up over the last 20 years, it would turn into a gambling website. It just makes sense. It's like the equivalent of the high school douchebag turning into a frat bro finance major, or your local nurse somehow being the worst person you knew in high school. It's just a predictable trope at this point. Also, before we move on, I got a signed picture of the Rizzler. They just sent it to me in the mail. I didn't ask for this, but I do have it now, and I just really want to make that known. Learning this information about the current state of WeWorld made me wonder, what does the landscape for these games look like now, compared to their heydays in the early to mid-2000s, when the internet was just starting to blossom? Are they now degen sites, wastelands, completely inaccessible, unrecognizable even, or a secret fifth option I didn't come up with? Welcome to the glorified version of one of those child actors, where are they now, BuzzFeed core lists turned YouTube videos, but hopefully more entertaining. There's also a lot to cover, so I can't make a documentary about each game, or this video would be several hours long, as much as I know you would like that, princess. Nonetheless, let's take a look. What a wonderful By the time WeWorld was sent to the Shadow Realm in 2017, honestly shocking it was live for that long, over 180 million Weemies had been created. That's what they were called. And sure, by today's numbers, that doesn't seem like that many compared to the user bases of the most popular social medias that we use. But this was really, really popular for the early internet. It was back in the day when 1 million views on YouTube meant you were one of the biggest, most famous YouTubers out there. And you go back to watch beloved YouTube videos like How to Be Ninja or some early Smosh videos, and there would just be slurs in there, and you're like, oh man, I don't remember that. It's also the time where people would do this.
There is hair in my cake.
That's so fucking disgusting.
That's pretty bad.
And this. And also this.
525,000.
You're fat.
Good times? Good times. Good times to reminisce on. Despite it all, things were somehow a little easier back then. Anyway, WeWorld, originating in Scotland, home of Gordon Ramsay, of course, as we all know, got so popular that their avatars could be used in MSN chat in 2003, and partnered with other corporations that fell off, like Skype and AOL. Basically, the entire point of the game was to become more popular by spending real money on cosmetics and having people vote on your outfits to get to the top of the leaderboards in WeWorld. It was like Dress to Impress, but worse, I think. Honestly, fuck it. It was kind of like Fortnite. No, it's not. Just, what am I even saying? I almost forgot, too, that WeWorld would partner with celebrities, and they'd have their own Weemies, like Justin Bieber, Jason Derulo.
Hey, what's up? It's yours truly, Jason Derulo. Please check out my Wee Me on WeWorld.com, and I want you to be able to dress up your Wee Me.
Maroon 5, Snoop Dogg, Paris Hilton, Raven Simone, and the Jonas Brothers. Doesn't that kind of make them the Fortnite of their time? I think that does. But the moderation on there was essentially non-existent. If you wanted to say some crazy shit on there, you could just get around it by typing a word with different spelling and sending it in the chat. In a game like Club Penguin, you could barely breathe the wrong way and get a warning or ban. And that's definitely for the better, I think. People would simulate intimacy in this game in public lobbies for everyone to see too, which like, what's the point? And by intimacy, I mean they would jump and type bad words. But the general consensus online is that people either met their soulmates on WeWorld, fuck, I'm not doing that on purpose, or they got cyberbullied. It doesn't seem like there was an in-between. The in-between was me, where you just didn't talk to anyone. So nowadays, it's completely unrelated to the original owners or company, but now you can gamble on the website. Cool. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I moved my office. And that's about it. Let's move on. You might remember Habbo Hotel from this very popular 4chan meme from 2006 where people would dress up like a bodyguard and block off the pool and say, "Pool's closed." This is that game, if you know what that is. This meme died out pretty quickly from what I remember because Habbo Hotel made it so you can walk through other players, rendering the pool open no matter what anyone else says. Habbo was also a big chat room thing with avatars, but had a little more to it than sites like WeWorld. You could visit other players' homes and look at all the expensive shit they bought with real money. I guess it's not that different than a lot of the other games on this list, where the more real world money you spent on the game, the cooler you were. Obviously translating this metaphor into real life. These games were like microtransaction heaven, and people would basically host the Habbo equivalent of Squid Game at their homes to make the brokies do games and shit to try to win paid as they called furniture in the game that you could get for your home. You could even roleplay and get a job in-game. This is so visually confusing. What's the job? Is this a real person? How do I get a job here? This is like the equivalent of... Oh, wait, they're typing? They're typing? Is there someone sitting there for real? Just waiting for my dumb ass to ask? You have to meet a couple of requirements. Like what? This is the equivalent of like, just walk in there, hand them your resume, and you'll get the job. Going on Habbo now is just not the same. They removed like all of the nostalgic public rooms people used to hang out in, and basically some of the only areas people congregate in are in this nightclub. Why do I look like that? I look ghostly. I look ghastly. Like from Minecraft. No one's in the club? What the hell? What are they doing? It's Saturday night. It's literally Saturday night as I'm filming this, and there's no one in the club? Suit yourself. Alright, I'm kind of thinking that I might have scared everyone off the club with my appearance. I don't think I'm necessarily dressed for the club. I think I should adjust my appearance. Apparently that's all people care about these days. Oh? Someone's here? Someone's here? On me? On me? Someone's on me? Hello, Queen. Yes! We got a chat back. I'm dancing, I'm dancing. I'm courting. What brings you to the club on this fine evening? Sorry, I gotta go. You just got here. There's no way. Is this what guys feel like at the club when they buy a girl a drink and she's like, "Hey, gotta go. Thanks." You know what? I think I'm right. I think I'm scaring people off with how I look. Back then, you had to trade Fernie face to face, but now there's a trading system hub that you can just get what you want or trade Fernie for credit to just get the exact item that you want. A common consensus amongst players feels like the good old bartering system really made the in-game economy feel more challenging and exciting, even though it's easier now. At what cost? Where's the rush? Scientists have been asking for years. I watched this great video about Habbo's in-game economy and how there are 0 moderators on Habbo now, making it the perfect place for illegal casinos, scams, and selling their in-game gold for real-life money, which is what a lot of these games have part of their games turned into now. Like how Venezuelans are using RuneScape to farm gold for real-world currency, which is just such an interesting topic that I can't go into this video because I'm too dumb and don't have time, but it is worth mentioning if you didn't know that. But also, like, all of these games had their own version of give me your login or all your stuff and I'll give you free gold / better stuff in return scams. So it's nice to see it's gotten worse. And I'm realizing with most of these games, I was too young to understand or take part in the in-game economy at all. So I played them, but I have 0 knowledge on trading, for example, here. I never traded with anyone on Habbo. In Neopets, for example, I would just collect my omelet, find cheap stuff at the player run stores, get robbed at the giving tree, play the flash games, and call it a day. But the massive economies people participate in these games have really shown what their current fan bases are fueled by, and what keeps kids turned adults coming back to these games decades later, besides nostalgia. There are so many people who learned how, like, local economies worked from RuneScape, or even Roblox, I think. I don't know that much about Roblox. There we go, we're already getting some life back into my appearance. Wait! I could be Elle! I could be Elle! Make me a boy, make me a boy, make me a boy. Why did it randomize? Who is that? That looks like the kid from Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. Look how perfect this looks. Ship. Good girl. Let's go find some party people. Coffee house seems to be bumping. Life is gay dressed. Hello? What's here come the unemployed? You're also on Habbo Hotel. What are we doing? You the unemployed. Lol. Muted, bud. Rule 34 said lol. Okay. Baba. Oh yeah. I love the text moderation in Habbo Hotel would replace your words with Baba. Maybe I can break the tension. Maybe I can help. Hello, fellow humans. How quickly can I piss them off? I want to tell you I'm Elle. T-Mobile final boss. Hey, there's nothing wrong with having T-Mobile. Okay. Everyone seems to be ignoring me, unfortunately. Anyone like Death Note? I feel like I'm sitting down at the cool kids lunch table and being like, do you guys like anime? Love Death Note? Let's go. Let's go. There's some air horns. I think I made a friend. Team L. Obviously L. Just look at me. Mellow's weird AF in Death Note. Okay, we got people chiming in. Near is cool. Dude, I'm in a full-blown conversation about anime. Guys, it works. Asking people about anime works. This is your way to success and to making friends. You're welcome. Going back to the website now, they actually introduced Habbo Hotel Origins, where you can play as it was in 2005. This has to be new because I will periodically log into Habbo, not know what I'm doing every like couple years, and I have not seen this until now. And I really appreciate when these games introduce a version of the game that is preserved from the nostalgia of the era of its heyday. The pool. Is this where it all happened? Especially when those games are completely transformed into something unrecognizable from what it was when people really, really enjoyed it. Maple Story. So back to me, becoming employed in Habbo. So to get paid currency, you're able to get a job in-game. So I decided it's time for Elle to have a side hustle. He puts the L in hustle. And I thought this shit was gonna be a piece of cake. I didn't even know how much they paid. I didn't know what the hell was happening. But I spent the next hour and a half in this goddamn initiation. I was so hungry. I was tired. I wanted to go to bed. It took the life out of me doing this fucking initiation. Oh my god, what is this? I'm gonna write it down. Genuinely gonna take notes. These people take this shit too seriously. This already sucked the fun out of the game. This is so long. I genuinely want to log off so bad. Oh god, this is awful. This took longer than an actual training at an actual job in real life. It was nearly infuriating. And do you want to know how much they paid? Yes, pay rules. This is what I've been wanting to know. How does the economy work? 12 p.m., 12 a.m., and 6 p.m. UK time. You get paid 2 coins per pay time, up to 8 coins daily. This is so long. I feel bad. I feel like I'm wasting her time. If you are late or miss pay time, you will have to wait for the next one. You must stay at least 45 minutes after pay is over when the payer calls. If you disconnected or must urgently log off, make sure to inform the respective payer. This can't be worth it for 2 coins per 6 hours, right? What I'm wondering is how does the HIA make money so that they can pay me minimum coin per hour? What are we hosting that is making them money? There's a VIP area that can be purchased from a rank seller for 50 credits. Okay, so I'm spending real money at the job that I work that gives me 2 cents an hour, or 2 coins an hour. Or not even 2 coins per 6 hours. All right, my game fucking froze. That was agonizing, I'm not gonna lie. I was having fun. Okay, maybe I'm missing something, but getting paid 2 credits per 6 hours is wild when you can get 55 for $6. I'm not saying that $6 is cheap and affordable for everyone. I'm just saying that it would be better if you worked a real life job and then $6 of that can go to this instead of you spending time working in this game if you're in America? Is there like a RuneScape type situation where people will try to like farm credits like this and then sell it for real money? So unofficially, you can get 1,000 coins for $50. So yeah, I guess these jobs get their money from people buying higher ranks with the little money that they got from. That's what I don't understand. It's like you're buying something and then giving it right back to them. So you can get better perks. So you can like talk in colored chat. So you can sit in the VIP lounge. I don't really get the point because you can just do that not there. You can talk in colored chat elsewhere. I guess these agencies just buy credits from the store and also have people paying for ranks. So I decided instead of working in Habbo, it's time for me to work on showing you the best socks there is, baby. That's right, it's Bombas. Give a round of applause for Bombas, everybody. Bombas dropped these Sunday slippers that have not left my feet since traveling so much. Bombas has saved me. These are so comfortable that whenever I do take them off my feet, my feet feel naked. / negative in a negative way. Bombas socks and slippers are made from top tier materials like merino wool and extra long staple cotton and make great gifts for friends and family this holiday season. Everyone I've ever gifted Bombas to, which is a lot of people, have been over the moon about it. It's such a nice cozy gift. And the best part is that Bombas donates the top 3 most requested clothing items in shelters: the socks, underwear, and shirts. And you and I can contribute whenever you get Bombas because 1 purchased equals 1 donated. They've already donated over 150 million plus clothing items to those who need them, and that's pretty exciting. So feel good and do good with Bombas. New customers get 20% off their first purchase. Just use my link in the description and use code GABI20 at checkout. Thank you to Bombas for sponsoring, and back to Neopets has not been forgotten in my eyes, but you might be wondering what the current state of it is. Besides getting a piece of a questionably edible omelet and spinning my wheels for free stuff, the main meat of Neopets for me were the games. And since Adobe Flash Player discontinued support and completely blocked content running on Flash in January of 2021, you just can't play half the games on Neopets anymore. Flash was completely outdated. It had tons of security risks that HTML5 was just better at handling. With a revamp of how the website looks, since 2021, they've done a great job of getting these games back into a playable state by using Ruffle, which is a Flash emulator. However, my favorite games still suffer. Hannah, I miss you. Please come back. But like all the games we've talked about, there is an economy, which we all know I know nothing about. And drama, I don't know much about. Cut to the interview. What are you doing?
Hello, my name is Amanda, and I've been playing Neopets for 22 years.
I played Neopets for about 4 years, and then I stopped. So I kind of have a big gap in knowledge, and I see you have your screen pulled up, and we're ready to take a tour.
The site will change a lot as we kind of navigate through it, because it's been kind of spaghetti coded throughout the years. I created my account on December 30th, 2003. I have 314 avatars, and I have lots of trophies. My golden child, my favorite pet, is this. I guess it's its birthday.
Happy birthday. Wait, it's mine too?
Oh, is today your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, happy birthday.
We're birthday twins, me and Sloime.
Sloime? I don't know. I just adopted it. There's definitely a lot of really fun stuff now because it really like stagnated. I can't remember actually what the company that owns it now is called, but they do have like a new CEO that actually will do like AMAs. They try to be as transparent as possible. Definitely listen to the community now.
They've been more active on social media too.
Yes. Since 2020, actually, I spent a lot of time collecting every single paintbrush.
Yeah, why did people do that?
To paint your pet.
But don't they disappear once you use them?
Yes.
So you just have all of them to have all of them?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
So the economy has fluctuated a lot with the paintbrushes. So they have this item database on Jelly Neo, which is like a separate site, and it's amazing because then you can go through the price history of something, so you can kind of see how it's fluctuated.
Cool. I remember the rainbow one would sell for a lot. Is that still the case?
I actually don't know. It's actually really interesting now because during some events, they're actually just giving away a lot of really high ticketed items. They know who their audience is now, so they definitely like make it fun for adults. They've made the economy a little bit easier, but then they'll release new items that are hard to find. So
how do you like make, because in Animal Crossing you just play the stock market and just like go crazy on that, and you find people on Discord who have a high turnip price.
Yeah.
But how do you make a shit ton of money on Neopets?
Definitely this. You can get a lot from doing your quest. I mean, there is the stock market, but it's not the best to make a lot. They also have gambling. Food Club. Have you heard of Food Club?
Maybe.
You just place a bet on these pirates. I do not know how it works. So I copy someone's bets, and you can make a shit ton of money. You could easily make $1 million. Some days you bust and you don't make anything, but then some days you make a lot. So always just keep betting.
Always keep betting.
Yes, you will hit it big.
You're always so close to the jackpot. I wonder if I showed you my inventory, if there would be anything rare at all.
No, that's all junk. Junk.
No.
Yeah, it's junk. That's junk. You could just donate that all to the money tree.
No, the potato yo-yo, though.
No. Neopets is not fun if you don't go on Reddit, don't go on Discord, don't go on Jelly Neo. Like, it's definitely tricky to get new players in if you don't know, if you hadn't already played it before. Even if you don't have a lot of money, just doing the daily things when they have these events, you'll get points and then you can get items and then you can sell them. So you can dress up your Neopets now, which is just like customization, but they made a thing called like a styling studio. Instead of using a paintbrush to paint your pet, you can apply a skin to it pretty much, but you can pay for it. So I think that's kind of why maybe paintbrushes aren't as popular anymore. They've definitely kind of gone down in price. Because, oh my God, I forgot to tell you about this. There was also, for the longest time, when Neopets transferred over to the Neo Mall, the real money thing, and they said, you can customize your pets now. You can put clothes on them, you can do backgrounds, but now we actually have to change over what all the Neopets used to look like, and we have to create this new style so that they can wear the clothes. So they gave everyone an option. They said you can convert your pet so that it can wear clothes, or you can keep it unconverted. If you didn't elect to do it, it just automatically converted them. But the people that were playing said, no, I'm going to keep it unconverted. So those pets were so popular. People would like hack into other people's accounts to get these pets. They would trade for them. They would like create these pet pages and talk about how good of an owner they would be to this pet. That was like a status symbol. So this Neopet is converted, but now I can put a skin on it and make it unconverted, because that's ugly. That one's ugly. This is what it looks like now. That's so ugly. Yep. So now everyone can have it. At this point, I think it's people that used to play at some point and are coming back, and it's kind of a new game now, but you still kind of have the nostalgia aspect. I think it was probably close to dying because it wasn't generating money and people no new players and nothing new was happening on the site. But it wasn't until they got this new team and new CEO that have definitely been like really proactive.
Okay, thanks Amanda for hopping on and telling me about Neopets and catching me up to speed. Bye. Who was that? Okay, we're on Zwinky now. Zwinky! What the hell is Zwinky? Zwinky is very vague in my head because it was emerging during this whole MMO craze, which stands for many microtransactions online, of course. You made an avatar and chatted. People either had very fond memories or you got groomed. This was supposed to be a more lighthearted video. Why does this have to be the reality of things? You can't access it anymore, probably for the better. But in this Reddit thread, someone said there was a site called Xantarite that is basically the same thing. I'm sure it wasn't that hard to recreate. For a preteen girl, this was the ideal body, and I think we all projected ourselves onto our little Zwinks. Oh my God, bro. What the fuck happened to my pants, dude? Another thing that was a popular trope in these online games, Zwinky, Habbo, GaiaOnline, MapleStory, was to fill out surveys to get free in-game cash that you'd normally pay for. These days, the equivalent of that would just be watching an ad to get the thing that you want in a mobile game. But the thing is, watching an ad is way safer than whatever the hell this was. These surveys wouldn't give you shit most of the time. And I don't know how many other people did this, but I used to fill out fake information on these surveys so I didn't endanger my whole family into identity theft. But the thing is, these surveys would never end. They would just keep asking questions and keep giving you offer after offer and have you clicking through endless pages. Somehow I have fond memories of this. Until eventually you'd give up. This activity was preparing me for the endless forms I'd have to fill out as an adult. I've basically tricked myself into finding it relaxing. Club Penguin, Club Penguin. We all know and love Club Penguin. I think we all played Club Penguin. This and Webkinz were probably some of the only games on this list that were actually good at moderating their sites for kids, because they knew it was for kids and wanted it to stay that way. There was a membership your parents could pay for if they were feeling generous, like Habbo Hotel, where you could stand out and get cool cosmetics and items for your igloo that the other broke kids couldn't get. All I wanted for Christmas one year was that membership. Never got it. I was absolutely cracked at the games though. Yes! Oh, My wrist hurts, bro. And Club Penguin is the only reason I know how to play Mancala. Can we get some ones in the chat if you also learned how to play Mancala from Club Penguin? One's in the chat. When Disney shut down Club Penguin in 2017, for God knows why, other sites like Club Penguin Rewritten rose to give fans an opportunity to keep playing. This was by fans for fans, and I could finally get my goddamn membership for free. Everything worked flawlessly until that one got shut down by Disney for DMCA, but also it was making money. Running ads on their IP did not sit well with Disney. Give me my money. They said, where's my money? This isn't funny. Man, these rhymes are crummy. I'm beating up these rhymes like my name is Chun-Li. Oh, Nicki Minaj, sign me up. Put me on a song. Okay, anyway, other sites like Club Penguin Legacy have popped up though that don't run ads. Oh, it's bumping in here. It's absolutely going crazy in here. What did I just stumble upon? But apparently Club Penguin Legacy will like go offline for weeks at a time and is pretty unreliable and not really updating much anymore. Hello? Before I shed tears at this reality, let's move on to Webkinz. This is my impression of Miranda singing Webkinz. Ethically sourced Miranda sings. Webkinz. Guys, this is Webkinz. I'm here to play Webkinz. I'm sorry, this is so terrible. This is actually infuriating to listen to and to do, honestly. Webkinz is a game that had you purchase a real-life plush, which was a really interesting concept that drove advertising and sales in the real world while fueling the online one. It was more than a stuffed animal. You could actually play with it in-game, which was so cool in my head. And essentially, you're just buying a game with extra steps, so it was more exclusive, even though you could just choose a free pet. It worked. I mean, by the 2020s, Webkinz has sold over 2 million products, and during its heyday, it had tens of millions of users. It was absolutely massive. Mine was this little platypus I got for my birthday, and I'm pretty sure I named her Charlotte after that book I didn't want to read. I also had this little cow. When I went to go check out Webkinz today, they actually now also have Webkinz 2 in addition to the classic game, which is all the same fun and everything you love about the first one, but way more alarming to look at. Why does he move like that? Why does he move like that? But in Webkinz Classic, there's a surprising amount of things to do than I remember, especially compared to the thinly veiled microtransaction chat rooms. You can go to class, have recess, go to different stores that sell different things, go on a gem hunt, get in early on clocking into a 9 to 5 as an 8-year-old, getting rejected because you don't have 5 years of experience in that field.
Sorry, but you can't do that. Sorry, but you can't do that job.
And there's voice acting.
Pretty decent gem you've got there.
It's also basically The Sims where you have to take care of your pet's needs, minus the heinous crimes one may commit on their Sims. I'm not saying me. I'm saying one may commit. One's in the chat? So after a little while, I was trying to log back into Webkinz for this video, and I couldn't remember my username or email, so I thought I was screwed, but it's a really good thing that I remembered that when you make an account, they just have you save your username and password in a PNG image that you save to your downloads, so that's awesome. That actually saved me. It was also very secure. The original Webkinz was so much fun. You could do so many different versions of clicking on things, which is, I guess, what a lot of these games are. I've heard some people call RuneScape a menu simulator. Listen, I'm not trying to argue, that's just what I've heard. And Webkinz hasn't really changed much from what I remember as a kid. They preserved it really well. The only difference now that I remember is that now you have to download Webkinz instead of playing it in browser. But so I really wanted to try this new Webkinz, which is just gonna cause me to sleep with one eye open. I mean, this is what FNAF looks like to me in my head. And I met up with some people who were just trading. I bet there's a whole trading economy that I'm not savvy enough to understand in Webkinz 2. I barely understand my own country's economy, or just economies in general. And there's already a game where you just solve captchas. So the new Webkinz is scary, yet somehow active. Not to mention, they do have paid memberships in both, because of course they do. Poptwopica. Poptwopica. Yes, Poptwopica. I'm as warm as a glass of whiskey. This is ginger ale. My camera died, so we're just gonna have to do this. Poptwopica was a game that focused on jumping around different themed islands with different stories. It was a really jumpy game, and might be the only one on this list where you couldn't really talk to anyone, at least not from what I remember. This is kind of moody. I like this. Makes me feel like I'm a new metal band where I'm just gonna go. But yeah, you couldn't really talk to anyone, which completely goes against the way I chose games for this video. But I don't give a frick. Leave me alone. Poptwopica was the brainchild of Diary of a Wimpy Kid author Jeff Kinney, which I didn't know until making this video, which explains the various advertisements that Poptwopica had for the series, which by the way, they are still going and they are on their 19th volume. Also, this scene from the hit 2011 Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie Roderick Rules lives in my head.
You know about the D-O-R-E? The door.
It's been my vocal stim lately. Anytime a door comes up in conversation at all, even remotely, I just can't stop saying it. The door. It was made by that textbook company Pearson, but is now hosted on Cool Math Games, which is also a website. What? I can't explain everything. But yeah, you'd basically just jump around, and I realized many of the games of this era were essentially just sandbox games with no set quest lines that you had to complete, and the fun was just hanging out with your friends and using your imagination, which could be an excuse for the lack of features and interesting gameplay, but I choose to not believe that that's the case. The full breakdown of the rise and fall of Poptwopica is best explained in this Dream Jelly video, where they go over all of the details if you want more info, but essentially the game was fun at first, but became riddled with advertisements that were innocuously integrated ignorable billboards, but then became more and more prevalent with sponsored buildings and in places that you can't ignore or skip ahead, like you definitely didn't do with the ad on this video. Right, guys? Let's shake on it. Then they added a store for cosmetics and memberships, which is honestly perfectly fine in my opinion. They needed to monetize it somehow to stay afloat as the game got more popular and they had to pay for more servers and shit, but then they started locking classic islands and parts of the game behind the paywall. And the cool cosmetics that you'd get from doing some of the quests kind of became less desirable, as you could just get cooler items from asking your parents to buy it for you like mine didn't. Even after the 2007-2009 heyday of these types of games, Poptwopica actually lived far too long past its shelf life, in my opinion. It got tons of spin-offs, games for other devices, until it really started going downhill when they removed like over a dozen of the classic islands that people loved and were nostalgic for because of them being outdated with Adobe Flash that was soon to die in 2020. We lost so much with Flash being gone, and a lot of games never fully recovered, like Neopets. They promised to bring back those old islands and then never did. Eventually, the whole Poptwopica company shut down after a failed Steam game they were trying to sell for $20 and didn't even include the classic islands they promised to bring back. So there's not much of a reason to buy this game that was previously free and is also still free right now on Cool Math Games. I tried playing Poptwopica today, and I don't know if it's just because I was using a trackpad, but the movement in this game is harder than Hollow Knight and Silksong. I don't remember it feeling this clunky and slow to move around. You just have to move the mouse up to jump. There's no button. Okay. There are a bunch of quests that are fun and cute, but it's essentially just clicking around like most of these games ended up being. It's so interesting to go back and play older games and realize how much innovation has happened in gaming even since the 2010s. Or even before that. Have you ever actually tried to go back and play Super Mario 64? The game is you trying to get to where you want to go by fighting the camera. I had New Moon on in the background because it's free on YouTube right now, and eventually I got stuck in dialogue and I couldn't hit the exit and just started watching New Moon instead. God, I forgot how funny this movie is.
Bella! Where the hell have you been, Loka?
No one is updating Poptwopica nowadays. Not the free one, nor the Steam one. However, if you're feeling nostalgic, you can actually use an app called Flashpoint to download and access the classic version of the game you probably played as a kid, preserved by fans. I was gonna end the video there, but then I remembered one more that brought back a flood of emotions and probably only like 1% of you remember. GaiaOnline. Oh, yeah. GaiaOnline. The art style of GaiaOnline is by far my favorite out of all of these. It reminded me of MapleStory's 2D chibi art style. The site started out as a forum in 2003, and the interesting part is that it's still largely a forum in 2025. I logged in and the site is largely unchanged. You make an avatar, click around in shops, explore the world and talk to people. Your classic chat room game, but so much cuter to me. And there's way more to do than any of the other ones of its kind, like Zwinky and WeWorld. There were quests you could do for gold, and it feels very old internet. But here's the thing about it being unchanged. Half the website is completely broken. You can't make a home anymore. You can't have a car anymore. So many links on the website are just broken. Instead of fixing the normal world you would walk around in called towns, they just made towns 2 and left the old one up. And it's not even because the site is abandoned by developers. It's not. I essentially interviewed one of the regular players, and it seems like Gaia's retained audience are people who played it as a kid in the glory days of 2007, so people who are around like 25 or older. And they basically told me that the devs barely work on the site, and apparently still make around like $20 million a year from whales who spend thousands of dollars a month on the site. Although my source for all of this is just some random person in this abandoned dead mall of a site, so take those numbers with a grain of salt. But after they told me this, I had to check out why. I found it so interesting that this completely broken, half-dead site still working off of Flash Player, or not working, is still apparently making millions of dollars that the devs are happily taking while working on the site. And there it was. 3 of the 7 links at the top of the page are monetized, of course with shops being a mix of in-game and purchased currency, but then I hover over the gacha section. I'm so unfamiliar with gacha and in-game gambling. I have not a single gambling bone in my body, but the gacha section is wild. There are a bunch of links to different slots essentially that make you use purchased currency, minus the one where you can use in-game currency to get you hooked probably, and the prizes are just in-game cosmetics. I know Genshin Impact has a large reputation around doing a very similar thing, though I never looked into it. It seems like a common practice amongst certain games, but it just reminded me of Genshin specifically since it's one of the biggest. There's another section with those offers and surveys I was talking about earlier that you can complete for paid currency, but it looks like the 2025 version of this is them partnering with gambling sites and making you download their apps to complete the offer. Another list of them are a bunch of random things like purchasing something on Chewy, which was so random and something I already do. So I looked into this and you have to be a new customer, so I was not able to take advantage of this one. Drats. So it seems like the devs are fully capable of updating the site, but they don't because they don't have to. They think they're making enough money as is. Like for example, back in like 2007 or so, they introduced this part of the site called Rally where you could race your car, but you can't have a car anymore, right? And they've just left it broken. Now people just hang out in there to chat and you can't do anything. Half like the parking spots are unclickable because that was a sponsored part of the site and now they just don't have to update it anymore. What's the point? They stopped making Scion in 2016. Apparently the most active part of the site these days are back in its roots as a forum, which was pretty interesting to sift through. I wish Reddit had these cute little avatars next to anything I posted or commented. I would honestly use the site more. And I will not subscribe to whatever abomination this is. Just kidding, it's not that ugly, but you know, it doesn't compare to Gaia. Hey, it's Editing Gabby here. I did more research and the TLDR of how GaiaOnline fell into such an abysmal state is partially because they introduced items to regular users that would just print in-game money, and it costed 99 Gaia cash, which was equivalent to $1 US. In 2008, these items only output a small number of gold cautiously into the in-game economy, but then in 2013, they released a gold generator that was printing so much gold, this obviously led to insane hyperinflation and the complete collapse of the economy. In 2016, the site was essentially taken back over by the original site creators, and they introduced a new currency called Platinum to replace gold, which is so interesting to me because isn't that basically what happened to Brazil mentioned in real life? In 1994, due to cycles of hyperinflation, a new currency called the real was introduced, or something. I don't know. I don't know economies, like I said. Also, if you want more in-depth history on the site, this video by Red Bard is great. It was really interesting to get to see the state of these online games these days. I didn't have time to cover games like MapleStory and Toontown, trust me, I really wanted to, but I didn't have the time, and in my head I feel like these games are kind of separate from the ones that I covered. I was trying to go for the more like glorified chat room games and also just the childhood games like Club Penguin and Webkinz, because those are just the ones that I thought of first with this topic. Not to mention all the Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, browser games. It's such a rabbit hole to go down with the Flash games of this era. They were absolutely massive. There's no shot I'd be able to cover even close to all of them, or just all encompassing the culture of this era. These games were huge. These games really catapulted PC gaming to the next level. But I just wanted to revisit some of my favorite ones today, especially some of the more obscure ones like GaiaOnline that I feel like I'm the only person on this earth that remembers it. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Instagram and TikTok at It's Gabby Belle. Thank you to everyone who bought a Brigadeiru Bing Bong vinyl. I think there's not too many of them left. This is the only time you'll be able to get them. They're limited. So if you want one, you can head to gabbybell.com. This is something that's been brought up with creator merchandise in general, but I don't control the shipping prices, by the way. I don't make money on shipping prices. My camera died again. Let's not talk about it. The companies who are making and shipping them aren't making money on the shipping prices. It is completely out of my control. So I know that sometimes shipping can be crazy and cost just as much as the vinyl itself. I'm sorry, I don't control it. I'm also not a big corporation that's ordering 10,000 of these and can afford to just make it all free shipping. This is a small thing. The vinyls are being pressed at Furnace Record Pressing in Virginia, and I designed it all myself. So anyway, toodaloo. Did that sound natural?